Welcome back. If you are trying to buy hand sanitizer these days, this may be what you encounter. Take a look at this. Stores are selling out, and some people are charging wild amounts online. But yeah, look at this. Nothing on the shelf there.
It's just incredible. I mean, it in a way feels like a zombie apocalypse, doesn't it?
It feels strange.
It feels strange. Maybe not quite like that because that's not a real thing, and this is a real thing. I understand
yeah, well, that's an important distinction.
But here's the other thing. This is very important. A lot of people are heading online trying to find recipes to make their own hand sanitizer, but not all of them are effective. So we wanted to provide some do's and don'ts because there's a lot of misinformation floating out.
There certainly is a lot of misinformation out there, and some of the recipes online are just plain ineffective.
Right.
Here's the most important thing about all this. When you buy hand sanitizer, store-bought hand sanitizer, the CDC says it needs to have at least a 60% alcohol content to be effective. Well, the same thing is true if you're going to attempt to make it at home.
Right. And so before we even begin, we want to clear up some of that misinformation online that we were talking about. Some recipes say that you can use Tito's vodka to make hand sanitizer. Not true. This coming from David's personal supply.
Did bring this in from home.
Even Tito's tweeted about this, saying it's not accurate.
Yeah, and this brings us back to the 60%. No, maybe later. This brings us to the 60% alcohol content in the final mixture that you need. So it says right on the label of Tito's that it's 40% alcohol content on there. I'm not sure whether you can get in there. Oh, look at this. Chris is getting it. So then if you're going to dilute it even more, this just won't work out. Right. So instead, here's what you need to actually make this work. You need rubbing alcohol and you need aloe vera. But this is important. The rubbing alcohol is isopropyl alcohol with a 99% alcohol content. And I'm going to be honest, we searched and searched to try to find 99%. We could only find 70%.
Wow.
That's not going to work. But if you can find 99, so I wrote 99 on there so that we all know that's what it actually takes to make the final mixture strong enough for this to work.
Okay, so then we'll at least be at our 60 is what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's 2 parts alcohol to 1 part aloe vera?
Yeah, so this is a recipe that the New York Times shared online. So we're going to measure this out, and we're going to give you an idea of just what the consistency is going to be like. Because if it turns out right, it turns out very similar to the store-bought hand sanitizer that we're used to. So I'm putting 2 parts. Here's, okay, 1 cup. I'm going to do half a cup and another half a cup to make 1 cup. So 2 parts of the rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
And it's important that it is isopropyl rubbing alcohol.
Okay, and so then I get to
you get to do a half cup of aloe vera.
Okay, it looks like that's just about.
That looks about right. Yeah.
Shake it out.
Maybe a little bit. Okay. How's that looking?
You and I should never get in the kitchen together by ourselves. Especially when
this is why they've never had us do this before. We always have a supervisor of some sort. Okay. And today there's no supervisor. Although Jill's kind of always our supervisor. She tells us, cut the... Okay, so we're going to stir this up. You could also use a whisk to try to get this, really, what do they talk about emulsify, right?
Mix it up.
You want to really get it mixed up.
There you go, Chris.
But that's what it's looking like.
I almost feel like it's not thick enough, but I again realize that you want to get the perfect combination.
Yeah, you have to have the perfect alcohol. And so it's 2 parts rubbing alcohol, 1 part of the aloe vera.
Okay, so this is what we're left with. It's kind of watery. I'm sure if you blend it a little bit better, but again.
Oh, and you know what? You can, it feels, once you have it on your hands, it feels very similar to what you're used to. And a couple more things we want to tell you. Experts say baby wipes, not like hand sanitizers. They do not have the alcohol content in them, so they just don't work the same way.
Right.
So that's an important thing to know. Yeah. And also, the best advice from the CDC is to just wash your hands with soap and water. Of course, if you can't do that, hand sanitizer is a good backup, but it is a backup.
I loved our experiment yesterday where we painted our hands just to see how effective it can be and where you're missing.
And I think that's a great way to teach kids because, you put all that paint on and then whatever spots are not there, they know they're not getting all of their hands clean, so
now, it's
important.
Not dry yet.
We put a lot on. It's all right. Yeah, all right. So we're going to have the recipe for you there online. Again, it's 2 parts rubbing alcohol, 1 part aloe vera, and you have to have the 99% rubbing alcohol. That is very important, and unfortunately, it's hard to find right now.
Right.